Hello and welcome to another episode of In Orbit, Mash Those Buttons official Destiny podcast. I am Jarrett, also Joblaze on PSN and Destiny. I'm here with Jovan Branch, who is Sage the Infinite
Yo.
on PSN, and also here with Jorge Veguija, who is GoToNRG on PSN, and we're not even going to talk about your Xbox tag this
Nope.
time.
No, we ain't.
There is no reason. This in orbit is a week late actually because we tried to in orbit. It's the second week of every month, but it was E3 last week, so I was like, well, we might as well just wait and hear about what's happening, and then we'll do one, and that's why we are on week 3 right now, and we got some new information. Some of it was spoiled thanks to people working at E3. Thanks,
Bunch
guys.
of losers.
Yeah. Spoiling some information there. So, yeah, we have quite a bit to talk about. We're just going to get started. Actually, let's talk about you guys first. How you been doing, Sage? I know your story is probably the shortest. So, what have you been doing in Destiny?
Nothing. That's it. Crucible now and again, and that's it. I did Prison of Elders like a week ago, and but other than that, it's been hard to get back into it.
Right, because last time we talked, you just don't feel the need to have to play, right?
Yeah, I don't feel that addiction anymore of just having to get everything, and because like I said, it's hard for me to get into something when I can't just do it by myself. I can't do it on my own. I need to constantly link up with people, and sometimes you don't, when everybody's on, you don't feel like playing. So what I
Right.
mean? That's just the way it's going right now. So I mean, I really don't feel a need to really grind or do anything.
Okay. What about you, Jorge? How you
Uh,
doing?
been a lot of the same stuff. I've been raiding. I've been doing the arenas, um, EVP. Uh, haven't really touched Trials of Osiris with the 10-foot pole just because there's a lot of it's just really, really unbalanced, unfortunately. But we can talk about that later.
Yeah, I gotcha. I too have abstained from trials, and I'm not upset by that decision. At least, I mean, I see people in the Crucible with like the trials helmets and stuff like that. I'm just kind of like, oh, they look cool, but I look cool shotgunning them in the face. So it's I
Side
really
side note on those, a lot of their perks suck.
really
Oh, really?
Oh, it's like uh, you can throw the grenade farther. Okay.
Oh God.
Why would I wear that and when I can wear something else that'll give me extra super energy when I kill somebody with a headshot or something like that?
right, yeah. I think the best piece of armor that came out of there, I guess somebody told me they got some boots that gave them more rocket ammo. I'm just kind of like, oh, you mean like the boots I got from Crota?
Or the boots you get from Vault of Glass?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, yeah, I haven't really been feeling the heat. Actually a couple people on our clan. They play every weekend, and they've made it to Mercury at least 2 times. 'Cause they posted the video twice, so they've made the Mercury at least 2 times. Um, and they seem to like it. They say it's a lot. It's fun. But then I posted a video today on my Facebook of guys just blatantly cheating.
And sitting down.
Yeah, the guy, he sat down. Like, he got to the point, just sat down. He let people beat up on him. He just sat down until his special charged. Then he does it. I'm like, you've got to be shitting me.
Wow.
Yeah, a huge lag switch. And if you look at his stats, you can clearly see when he started doing it. They go from having a really shitty KD to like a 4 KD.
Wow. See,
Yes.
that I can't deal with that.
Yeah, I mean, it's bad enough in the Crucible, but at least if somebody's cheating there, it's like, whatever.
Right.
I got my points. That guy's an asshole. But in trials, like what if you're on your last win? Like, you lose
Right.
and you're done.
Right.
So yeah. But other than that, I mean, I at this point, the only reason I play Crucible is to do bounties because I had a lot of weapons that I got from like Vault that I never used because I didn't really start doing Vault until after Dark Below came out.
Mm-hmm.
So I got these weapons, but then they couldn't go that high anyway. So because of that, I just never used them. They couldn't get to 331. So I never used them. Now, like Vision of Confluence and some other weapons, I'm finally leveling them up, and the best way to do that is with bounties. So that's when I play Crucible. That's why, or just because there's nothing to do. Like I was on with Waldy the other day, and it was just we were just talking. He was like, "You want to do some Crucible while we talk?" I'm like, "Yeah." you know. Um, but other than that, I've been doing Prison of Elders, which was kind of a challenge at first, but then once you get that etheric light on more of your weapons, forget about it. I mean, like my exotics were the easiest to upgrade, obviously, because I had plenty of shards, and then I got like 3 hard lights in the last few weeks, so those are shards,
Right.
So getting the exotics were fine, but then once I got my hunter and warlock up to 34, and after that, that's when I started putting etheric light on my weapons. So like my fang, my word of Crota, now my Oversoul Edict, my Vision of Confluence. I have my secret handshake, all the stuff that I use primarily. That's all leveled up now to the point where I have like 3 etheric light just sitting out there.
Yeah.
While I decide what I'm gonna do with it.
That's why I don't know if you remember when we did In Orbit 4, like we were talking about the dearth of etheric light. Like, oh my God, we don't have any etheric light. How are we gonna? And now we have so much that's why I wasn't too concerned that week about the levels of etheric light dropping, because I knew for a fact that we were just going to have so much that it was going to get to a point where we're going to have like 30 or 40 just chilling in our vaults by the time the September DLC drops, Taken King, which you want to start off with that?
Yeah, you might as well get into that because that was the big quote-unquote reveal that had been leaked for E3. So I'm just going to list some things off before we actually talk about it. Pricing.
Yep.
For the game, the expansion is $40 for people who have Destiny DLC 1 and DLC 2. So
you have to have all 3.
Yeah, you have to have all 3, and then you can spend an additional $40 for the expansion. Then there's a $60 Legendary Digital Edition, which is basically it's a Game of the Year edition, but that includes the core game, DLC 1 and DLC 2, and the Taken King.
It's a digital and a physical version.
Digital and a physical, but they're both for $60.
Right, and they won't come out the physical version won't come out until September. The digital version is available now, obviously without Taken King.
Right, and then it'll just become unlocked whenever I guess. When it comes out, which I imagine they'll flip that switch at 4 a.m. East Coast like they do everything else. So it's not like you can wait and play it at midnight like you can.
Actually, you know what? Game. I think they might do the same thing that they did with House of Wolves. Because remember, they didn't do that with Dark Below. Dark Below, come 4 a.m. whatever Eastern Standard Time, you could play Dark Below, but for some reason they decided no, House of Wolves, we're going to make it 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time because it's 10 a.m. Pacific time. They were like, no, we're gonna make the House of Wolves come out at 1 p.m. I was like, okay.
Yeah, I don't get that because it's funny because Steam, like I've played games at Steam at midnight, and then people on the West Coast still couldn't play it. Like it's definitely within their grasp to lock based on time.
Right.
Unless they're worried about those pesky teenagers turning the time up on their PS4, which was a viable trick in Metal Gear, by the way. Metal Gear Solid 3. Anybody know what I'm talking about?
I think I know what you're talking about.
What'd you say?
Bueller.
No, because it was like that. Oh, what was his name? What was the enemy's name? The old guy.
End. Was it the End?
It was the End. Yeah.
Yeah.
The End. Yeah. Like he was this old guy, right? And you get this opportunity to snipe him. You get this opportunity where you catch him sleeping, right? So
Mm-hmm.
you could do, you can shoot him there. If you shoot him enough, you'll kill him, right? But then you
Mhm.
get another opportunity to fight him if you don't kill him there.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, he's sniping at you, but you have to find where he is.
Mhm.
And you can either fight him like fair and square, or you can save it at that point. Turn your PS4 time up by a week, and he'll die of old age.
That shit was so awesome.
Yeah.
Wasn't there also a trick where you can snipe him from like a long, far away where he can't even see you?
Well, yeah, that's when he's sleeping.
Yeah.
But you have to shoot him like 3 times consecutively, and at the third time he like literally explodes into dust. So good old Metal Gear.
I love that game, man.
The trade off though, for those who actually gonna try it, if you want to, if you kill him early, like in that part where he's sleeping, then you actually have a much harder fight ahead of you, because in that same part where he normally fights, you have Ocelot and like 7 of his guys.
Mm-hmm.
So beware. But back to Destiny. Metal Gear Cast is over right now.
Now I want to talk about Metal Gear.
Yeah, that's a totally different thing. Yeah. So that's $60 for the Legendary Digital Edition. $80 for the Digital Collector's Edition that includes Destiny DLC 1 and 2, the Taken King, 3 class-specific emotes, dances, 3 armor shaders, 3 exotic class items with XP bonuses. And then there's the $80 physical collector's edition, which I believe it includes all that, plus a modified Treasure Island book with intro letter from what? I don't even know who that is. Like, what's that name?
Cade 6 is the Hunter Vanguard.
Oh, really? I never knew.
Mm-hmm.
Is that Nathan Fillion?
Yep.
Okay, so you get an intro letter from Nathan Fillion.
Mm-hmm.
Personal notes and illustrations, collection of relics and artifacts, cards, and additional illustrations with a strange coin replica. So it can sit in your house the same way it sits in my vault.
Damn.
Strange coins. That's another thing. At one point I'm like, man, I gotta get those strange coins. Got to do the weekly, and I was like, meh. I'd give a strange coin to a bum if I saw one.
Give them to a bum every week if Zer's selling something.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Zer was actually good last week, though.
What did he have?
He had new stuff.
Okay.
He had new stuff. He had these gauntlets for the Titan actually, his gauntlets for the Titan and for the Hunter had items that moved on it. Like, next time we're in game together, I'll show you my Hunter, my Titan gauntlets.
Yeah.
And like how they float above your arm.
Yeah, they look cool.
The one for the Hunter, it can make you invisible even when you're in gunslinger mode. Plus, if you hit somebody from behind, it does 4 times damage.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's an instant kill. And on enemies, it'll do the 4 times damage, and if they're still alive, it'll poison them.
Oh wow, yeah. So that was good. I think those were good items.
It just seeing that hard light just pissed me off.
That was a hard light. It was funny. It was funny. So so that's the way the pricing broke down. Obviously, a lot of people had problems with this. I mean, I think it was rumored that the Dark Below was going to be $40 anyway. Which, me personally, I had a problem with that because that's 2/3 of the game. But a lot of people, they were okay with that.
Dark Below or Taken King?
Taken King, my bad. Taken King. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah. So like, a lot of people were okay with that because, like, well, it's a bigger expansion and it's gonna be worth it and blah blah blah. I'm still not happy with a $40 price tag on that expansion. To be perfectly honest with you, because I don't think we're getting 2/3. We're not even getting 2/3 of the original game, and the original game didn't feel like it was worth $60.
Well,
think. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, well, let's just compare it to Dark Below and House of Wolves. All right. So Dark Below and House of Wolves combined had 1 raid, 2 strikes, if you're an Xbox guy, 3 strikes if you're a PlayStation guy. You had 6 Crucible maps, a new social space in the Reef, Prison of Elders, 6 total exotic weapons, and the Trials of Osiris. And so far, from what we know for Taken King, it has 1 raid, 3 new subclasses, at least 1 new area. Although, from what we have heard, you got Phobos, you got Saturn, and you got the Dreadnought, plus new story missions in Mars and whatnot. You got at least 4 new strikes and a whole bunch of exotic weapons, plus whatever they put on in the that one slide. And from when people were looking at the map, it looks like there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 areas on the map, and obviously you got Earth, Mars, Moon, Venus, and am I missing one? The Reef. So you got 3 new areas that might be in the game. That's not to say that, I understand the whole thing about $40 is steep, but it looks like it has at least as much content as base Destiny, in terms of everything put together.
I mean, it does have quite a bit, but you said you want to put the Dark Below and House of Wolves together, and I think House of Wolves didn't feel like as much as a jip as the Dark Below, but the Dark Below totally didn't feel like it was worth $20.
Oh, absolutely not. No, the only reason I'm saying put those two together is because it kind of comes out to the price of Taken King.
Right.
You pay $20 for Dark Below, $20 for House of Wolves, $40 obviously, or if you did the special, it'd be 35.
Right. Well, I think at the most House of Wolves, but the Taken King should have been $30. No more than half the cost of the game. Because a lot of the stuff that's built in now, well, a lot of the stuff that you're getting, well, first of all, like I said, it's not like they built it from scratch. Okay, all that stuff's taken care of, and actually those new dances, those new dances. Actually, I just watched the video earlier today. Those new dances, actually, I guess the one that they showed the human doing, like they showed that in a video back in 2013. You know, the slow clap, they had that in a video during the Ice Bucket Challenge.
Cold busted.
Yeah, like the internet doesn't forget. We've seen these things already. So like those were already there, and you can almost guarantee that a lot of the stuff that was in the game, that's going to be in that game, was already there and ready to go. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know about ready to go.
Well,
I will say it was planned out, but certain things got removed, and then they went back and. But I know what you mean.
Yeah, I mean, like when the game first came out, or even before the game came out, there were a lot of people who did like testing and stuff like that for the game on Reddit and other like various forums, talking about what they saw, and especially after the game came out, and it was only like a fraction of what was there. A lot of people talk about how the story had totally changed, and not totally changed, but the story was changed and chopped up, and there wasn't as many places to go. I mean, Sage was talking about, I don't know if you actually mentioned on the podcast before. We talked about it before, where Bungie was talking about this huge, expansive world and talking about what they wanted to do, and it sounded awesome, and they didn't deliver on that.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I remember just seeing some of the, I think it might have been E3, some of the art, and
I mean, even now, I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry. But when you look at some of the art, especially when when it says installing Destiny, and you see all these different hand drawings, if you look at some of that stuff now, when you're looking at some of the images, a lot of the stuff seems to be stuff like the Taken. the the one image where there's like a hunter on the left side, and then there's obviously a fallen guy, and then there's obviously a cabal dude right next to him, and there's other creatures there. They're all moving together towards the right, and they're all glowing blue, which might have been the the plan for the Taken. And there's also images of pyramid-shaped ships um, that were flying that look a lot like the ships for Oryx. So I don't know if it was, always. I mean, a lot of stuff seems to have been taken from those concepts. So I don't know.
Well, yeah, man. Don't get me wrong. I know that they had planned a long tail for this game. So if they had just planned ahead with this stuff and then finally decided to implement it, that's one thing. But Destiny feels so chopped up, that it feels like a lot of the stuff was probably already in these places, you know. But I know collector's editions. We expect collector's editions to come out and be like, let's say the base price, but now you have all the DLC included.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I do think it's a bad idea to have a collector's edition. Let's say a year after the game comes out, and you're still offering expansion at 2/3 the price of that collector's edition. You see what I'm saying? Not to and those people who get the collector's edition, oh, sorry. Well, in this case, I'm going to use the right title, the Legendary Edition, because the collector's edition is the $80 one. But this one, like the Legendary Edition, has everything. Has Destiny, the expansion, and the first two and DLC 1 and 2. Plus, you get the all the class, the dances, the armor shaders, the stuff that we talked about, and the exotic class items, XP bonuses. You get all that for $60.
No. You get that for $80. The $60 version comes without that.
Oh yeah, sorry. So in the $60 version, you still get Destiny, DLC 1 and 2, and the Taken King for $60, and the rest of us are sitting here paying an additional $40 after we've already spent $40.
Yeah, I mean, my personal take would have been, okay, you offer the $40 digital download for people who have Destiny 1 or 2, and if that's all they want, fine. I would have offered a $50 to $55 version that includes that extra stuff. And I think people would have been able to swallow that more than they would have. Just only make it a digital version. For example, you want only what is it? Taken King, $40, bam. You want the special emotes, the shaders, and the class items. Pay another $15, make it a the $55 version, and what the hell? We'll throw in the red ghost from the first DLC. Not the DLC, the first special edition. Remember that?
Right. Yeah.
Then bam, $55. You get all that plus that red guy, and you're on your merry way. And I think people would have been able to swallow that more than would have been to pay $80 basically for everything. And I understand that they want to make money, and I understand people are like, we shouldn't feel entitled. Oh, this is a DLC. I should pay no more than $20. At the same time, like, I'm looking at just the content that's being offered. Let's not debate whether or not it was there from the beginning or whatnot. Let's just look at the content that's being offered. And for the content that's being offered and the fact that it's almost as much as the original base game, $40 doesn't seem like too much to pay. In my opinion, anyway. I know a lot of people are different and they see it different.
Well, I think, because I'm obviously of the camp that thinks $40 is too much.
Right.
And one of the reasons is because from a technical perspective, it just this is money on air for them. With the base game coming out at $60, that includes not just the content they made, but them putting the entire world together and building these systems, building tools so that they can actually build the games and the systems. Writing out the stories and stuff like that. And with the DLCs, like, all they have to do is expand, quote, no pun intended, on what they've already built. and asking for 2/3 of the game with that technical portion in mind. That's one of the reasons why I'm just like, I don't think we should be paying $40 for this DLC, especially because they owe us for Dark Below. You owe us, Bungie. You owe us for Dark Below. Okay, because that game, if you didn't have such that DLC, if they didn't have such a loyal fan base, that DLC I think could have ended Destiny.
Yeah, that was a pretty bad DLC.
And it was the first one. And the thing about people, like, Destiny always had a bad rap for not having a lot of content since the beginning. And a lot of the Destiny loyalists were saying, oh, well, we got this expansion coming out, this DLC's coming out in December. Sure, it's $20, but it's going to expand, it's going to help us out a lot. And it really didn't. To be able to sit there and do the entire story in less than 90 minutes, that's no. They owe us for the Dark Below.
I feel like it just seems like they're catering. I mean, they're supposed to. I mean, that they're trying to make money, but it just feels like they're not. They're kind of just leaving the guys that have been there since day one. Like, what do we just pay $40? Like,
no,
I just feel like.
Yeah, I agree. That for the day one people, it kind of the pricing really bites. And I honestly believe had they offered a $55 version that included the emotes and all that stuff, and it only included Taken King, I don't think we would have had the fiasco that we had this week. And then again, Luke Smith, the way he... For people that don't know, Luke Smith is somebody that works at Bungie.
And he's an asshole.
And
he was a jerk.
The comments that he made towards the guy... The guy at Eurogamer, basically the guy at Eurogamer, from when I'm reading it, it looked like he just got frustrated because he was just like, this guy's not going to answer my question, so why even bring it up? And then Luke Smith was like, I'm going to poke you. I'm going to poke you bad. And people were just like looking at this like, what is wrong with this dude? Like, is he trying to sell this game or is he trying to be a complete asswipe? Like, the stuff that Luke Smith and to be fair, looking at both sides, the guy from Eurogamer said that the conversation they had was more lighthearted than the way it came out, and they don't think that the quote unquote shitstorm that came out should have been like the way it is. However, when I'm looking at that stuff, I'm just like, that's not the guy that you want, to promote this game, which is supposed to introduce year 2. That being said, the fact that Deej came back out and was like, year 1 players are going to get something that's special, additional, and better than stuff that people just getting like the Legendary Edition or the Digital Collector's Edition for the first time come September. Year 1 people are going to get something way better. What that is, we have to wait and find out, because as of this time, 9:30 at night on Tuesday, June 23rd, we still haven't received the daily update or the weekly update. They mentioned that it will be in the weekly update. What that is, so we'll have to wait and see. But as of right now, we don't know what that is. My guess is they wanted to take an extra day and make sure that they ironed out that weekly update really nicely. Now, my question for you is this. Is the pricing controversy a combination of players not being used to this model of pricing that is somewhat common to people that play MMOs on computer?
A couple things. I want to backtrack for a second and talk about Deej for 30 seconds. And say that he has a part in this too, in this controversy, because he didn't just come out and say the year 1 players are gonna get something bigger. That's not the first thing he said. The first thing he did was say, was quote somebody on the forums, and who said they're not gonna pay for the DLC or for something they already paid for. And he's like, that's your right to go wherever you want. Snap, snap. That's basically the way he came off with that. And then after engaging a few people, then he said year one players are going to get something better.
Mhm.
And part of the problem is that no one up until that point has said anything about what's coming. Well, sorry, I should say not anything, but besides like the special shaders and Sparrow, nobody has said anything about year one players until that point. So it kind of makes it look like now they're just trying in damage control mode, and they're trying to come up with something to give the year one players.
Right.
That's what that looks like.
To me, like it came off like I understand how you feel, but fuck you.
Yes.
That's just what I kept getting as I read. Like, yeah, I know how you feel, but I don't give a shit. Like that's just
Yeah.
how it came off to me, and that rubbed me the wrong way.
Yeah,
you
it's
know.
like I know what you mean, but it just sucks.
Well, I mean, I totally agree with you. Like the way that they've been wording stuff is head scratch worthy to say the least. But my whole thing with the community is they just announced the game last week. It's not coming out until September.
Yeah,
And
that's
nobody knows what's like coming out, when's it coming out, or I mean, obviously 15th of September. What am I talking about? But like what the game encompasses and what it's all about. Like, I mean, this is E3. It's supposed to be to like showcase a tad of what the game is going to be. A lot of people don't know what's going to be in Metal Gear Solid 5, but I guarantee you they were like, I can't wait for that game. And they
Nobody's saying that about Metal Gear 5.
Well, I mean,
I'm
okay.
fucking with you, Jorge.
But like a lot of people, like we're just 1 week removed from like E3. Like let's just slow down a little bit. And I know a lot of people are excited for Taken King, but a lot of the people who are overexcited are kind of ruining and just adding this mob mentality to the game that kind of shouldn't be there. Is some of the damage self-inflicted? Luke Smith, yeah. Deej to a certain extent, yes. But let's slow down a little bit. Like, let's just wait, because, I mean, we don't even know what's in the game.
So you're being reasonable right now.
I'm tad, yeah.
Well, here's the thing. This is one of those things where, well, you're a reasonable person, so I can't even use you as an example. But some of the people who are like on your side of the fence of that mindset are like, oh, these guys who are complaining are just babies and they're jumping out the window over nothing. But this is one of those situations where this isn't just one thing that just blew up. This has been like a tension of Destiny players over
For a long time.
Getting 2 expansions, paying $100 for the game, and then just feeling like you're getting recycled content. You're not really getting the game was chopped up in the first place. That's a lot of people feel like that. Especially with the Dark Blood, we talked about it, 90 minutes, and that's if you go slowly, And with the House of Wolves, you talked earlier, almost every map was just other maps backwards.
Mm-hmm.
It was like reverse. So like these feelings have been building up over time, and you're just waiting as a player for it to get better. It's gonna get better. They're gonna do something to make it better. They're gonna give us what we want. They're gonna drop out. Like, you remember, like not even a month ago, or maybe a month ago, or a little over at this point, there was talks about there was gonna be that raid that came out sometime in July. Kind of like the way Vault of Glass came out shortly after the main game, and we know that's not happening now. So like people like it's fans of this game have a lot of people have been just waiting for Bungie to do something to make it all worth it, And I think they're getting tired of it. Like, they're getting tired of being milked, and that's where that view comes from. So it's not just like this one thing happening, And I know you're like, let's take it easy. Let's just see what's gonna happen. But when you have situations like that, where there's a bunch of people that's kind of like getting closer and closer and closer to the edge. Eventually, they're at the edge, and then they're gonna jump off.
Being reasonable, Jorge again.
Yeah.
I have two questions. One, do you think that it's a product of the first one being is it a product of people putting too much expectation in the game based on leaks?
Well, I think
Because let's be honest, a lot of those leaks prior to House of Wolves built up attention, and Bungie was like, slow down, we're not ready to announce anything yet.
yeah.
And then like all these leaks were like, new raid, new horde mode, it's gonna be crazy, there's gonna be all this stuff, and then finally like House of Wolves come out, or like they're talking about House of Wolves, and they're like, and like people were like,
I think partially yes, partially because people are listening to leaks that aren't official,
Right.
And then on top of that, when Bungie comes out with information, and some of the leak was true, like really accurate, and some parts are missing, like this raid. I think those same players will start to feel like, oh, Bungie took that away.
Right.
But it started in the beginning of the game because Bungie overpromised. So I mean, let's look at what happened. Like the 2 or 3 months before the game came out. Okay,
The original game.
the original game. You have, first of all, their marketing department was on fucking point. Okay, the marketing department was on point. They were making big promises that never really panned out. But that's one thing. But let's look at the beta, because a lot of people got way more excited about the game after the beta. The beta, like, people were just talking, oh my god, the beta's good, you got to get this game. And I think that was a huge boon for how it sold when it actually came out.
Unfortunately, the beta was like 20 or 25% of the game.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was about to get into. Because when it's the beta, you're like, oh my god, this is just a small fraction of the game. This is pretty awesome. Especially since you only played, 4 maps, and if you played on the last day, you got to the moon.
Right. The first mission on the moon.
First mission on the moon. So people are like, oh my god, look at this game. It's so awesome. And this is just a small fraction. And then when you get the actual game, you're like, dude, that was a fourth of the game. And that was, I think, that was a huge shocker right there. That was a huge shocker. So from that point, now, you have these people who still kind of have these feelings that this is a good game, and you have hope that Bungie is going to take care of you, because a month after the game came out, they're like, oh, here's Vault of Glass. This is what we're talking about. We're going to keep the content flowing.
Was it a month or was it a week?
I thought it was a month. I'm pretty sure it was like a month.
I think it was the week after.
Really?
I think I'm not trying to poo-poo your.
No, that's fine, because I actually didn't play Vault until I got into a clan, which was in December.
Right. I'm pretty sure I did Vault either the second or the third week after it came out.
Well, either way, it came out after the game.
Either way, yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Go on.
Yeah. So I mean, that's the thing. Like it's not unheard of for games that have one price to continuously dole out content until the next expansion. Guild Wars does that beautifully. Guild Wars, like Destiny's model, like you can't compare it to like WoW or even to like Star Wars. You got to compare it to like Guild Wars. Guild Wars, you pay $60 for the game, and you have that game. That's all you pay for. You could pay for some additional items if you want to, like
cosmetic
items or additional slots for characters. In the original Guild Wars, they got me good with that, because I actually started to just buying slots so I can have additional PvP characters, so I wouldn't have to switch their gear. So you could do stuff like that, but for $60 you get the game, plus they do events. They do additional content, which most of the time were events. They do PvP tournaments. They do all this stuff. They add to the game before expansions come out. And then maybe a year later, or a year and a half, maybe even 2 years later, they pop out an expansion. And then you pay $40 for that. You know what I'm saying? And that's good. So like I said, the model's not unheard of. But with Destiny, I paid I played the original Guild Wars. And I got all 3 expansions. At the time, the game was $50. I paid for all 3 expansions, an additional what is that going to be? $120. Each expansion was $40. Okay, so I paid like $170 for the game, and that was over the course of like 3, maybe 4 years. And here it is with Destiny, and if I get the Taken King, I'm gonna be paying $140 within a year for way less content. That's what I kind of compare it to coming from a PC perspective, and it just doesn't really add out, but even out. But like I said, players from the beginning have been just waiting and wanting Destiny to be more, and you're just not getting it. They're kind of like giving you enough to say, "Hey, good things are coming," but then they just milk you. It feels like you're never gonna get there, and that's why we're seeing this right now. You know. So, yeah, like I said, you're reasonable about it, so I can't use your example, but there are other people on the other side of your fence tossing rocks like, oh, these guys are babies.
Oh no, I completely understand the anger, and like I said, honestly, I believe if there was a $55 version that gave you the emotes and only Taken King, I guarantee you almost all of this would have been, nullified. Hell, I even would have mentioned the Legendary Edition right now. Like the only thing I would have said would have been pre-order the physical edition, and if you want to get the main game right now, here it is. We'll give you a special price, $20. It gets you Dark Below and House of Wolves for a total of I don't know, $60 for the main game and the 2 DLCs right now.
Yeah.
And then don't even include what's the Taken King. And then when Taken King does come out, you can put out an $80 version that includes that plus the games. I think a lot of people would have been okay with that, considering that, hey, you paid $60 for the full game plus the 2 DLCs. Doesn't include Taken King, and then later on you could have included a version that includes Taken King for $80, and I think that would have solved a lot of problems.
Honestly, I like you mentioned, I don't think they should have mentioned the fact that there was going to be a $60 Legendary Edition.
Right.
I think they shouldn't have even put it out in September. They should have put it out in like December.
Christmas time?
Yep, they should have put it out in like Christmas time, or in their case, they're going to want to put it out for Black Friday. So let's say November.
Right.
They put it out, but because that you'll have a bunch of players that are like, okay, fine, $40, I'll pay for it. But right now you have players that are like, okay, $40, but they're in a Best Buy looking at a $60 game that has everything they paid for at what, $80 less.
Mm-hmm.
It just looks bad.
I think the other thing I was going to mention too was I think it has a lot to do with the way games are promoted now, where everything's pre-order.
Yeah.
And I'm almost positive everything involving the pricing was all on Activision side, and they've really botched the whole thing from the beginning. And it's a product of them wanting to sell copies as much as possible now, without the game even like being around the corner. And it's all to just buff up their numbers so that when the game comes out, we sold $700 million dollars worth of the game on day one. It's all for investor speak and nonsense and to build up stuff.
See, I don't know if I think Activision, if they really wanted to just make more money like that, they would abuse Call of Duty a little bit more. Like they would bump up Call of Duty DLCs by $5.
Yeah, but that they already know that they're going to get the numbers for Call of Duty because it's Call of Duty, and all they have to do is say, well, you can pre-order the game now and get 700 shaders that come along with the game, or some stupid whatever. And all it is just to get you to pre-order and put the money down, so that when the game comes out, they can say that they sold all these numbers. Because week after Call of Duty and Destiny came out, Activision was like, "Look how much we sold!" Blah.
Yeah. Well, they kind of only have 3 games that sell, so they got to put a lot of pressure on them.
Mhm.
Well, they have Destiny now, Call of Duty, and Skylanders.
Right.
I'm not including the Blizzard stuff, obviously. That's a different beast. But yeah. But I mean, that they do. I just think like I do think Bungie definitely had a hand in the pricing for sure. Well, back to the original question she asked because I didn't forget it. About the people aren't used to this type of pricing scheme.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's a I mean, I don't think it's not that they're not used to this type of pricing scheme. I just think that this pricing scheme isn't fair. Honestly, I just think that it's not fair. Like, fucking Luke Smith was absolutely right. It's about value and how valuable the player thinks it is. Like, there is a limit to what people will pay for these games, especially when they trusted you before. Like, they've been waiting for something for so long, for Bungie to do something worth it to them, or make everything all the time they spent, all the money they spent worth it, and we're just getting strung along. You know what I'm saying? I just don't think that people there's a limit. That's why games are still $60 now. I know that game manufacturers want games to be $70-$80 right now. Base.
Oh yeah.
Off the shelf, they want games to be $70-$80 right now. But they know if they push those games too high, nobody's buying it. Same thing, like that's why the Xbox. Well, no, sorry, the Xbox one started at $500. Look what happened to that. PS4, no, we're gonna be $400 because they knew that if you take it too high, people just won't buy it. Sony learned their lesson last time.
Oh yeah,
and Microsoft learned their lesson this time. That's why I'm confident in the next console cycle we're gonna have 2 $400 consoles rolling out, baby. But yeah, that's not like there is, for as much as we love video games, I love fucking video games. Okay,
same here.
There's a limit. Like, I'm not a sucker. You know what I'm saying? Well,
Yeah.
to a degree. But it's like, because if I wasn't a sucker, I wouldn't be playing Destiny. But like, that's like to a degree, like there's a limit to how big of a sucker I'm gonna be. You know what I'm saying? Like, I will splurge on games. I'll splurge on games. Like how how much my Steam library is worth in dollars right now, and I've only played like half of those games.
Let's not get into the backlog, man.
Oh yeah, my backlog, dude. I still have games here for my PS3 that are wrapped, that I bought and they're wrapped up, just never played them. And not be just because I don't have. It was because I didn't have time because I had more games to play. But there is a limit to like how much we're gonna play, how much we want to spend, like what we're going to spend, and it has a lot to do with how you feel. You know what I'm saying? Because
that's the thing. I think these. My bad for cutting you off, but yeah. I think these companies just have to make gamers and consumers feel good about what they're selling. You know what I'm saying? Like, because if you feel like you're getting your money's worth and you feel like they're not trying to take you, people don't mind spending money. I mean, obviously, a lot of people are still in Destiny, but I just wanted to say this real quick. I also think like it's really early. Like, it's still got a lot of time for them to, reveal stuff. I think this is just the reaction of the community now. You know what I'm saying? You know how many people cause a stir and a ruckus, and then by the time whatever they're complaining about is coming out, they're still buying it.
Yeah.
And then they're complaining the whole time afterwards. But you still bought it. You still gave them your money. That's why I understand what you're saying. Like, yo, I'm not going to buy it. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna say something about it, and I'm not gonna buy it. That's how you make your statement. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of people, they just like to complain and complain and complain, and then they're the first people in line to buy, and then they're cool, and then they're back to complaining again.
Yeah, like they make like an excuse.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I knew a guy who complained so much about Battlefield, but yet he was playing it all the time.
Right.
This was Battlefield 3. What happens? Battlefield 4, as soon as it comes out, bam, first guy playing it. And he's like, oh, I had to buy it. My friends play it, and I had to get it. I'm like, exactly. No, you didn't.
Like, yo, you really like it. You just, it's just like you
You don't
don't
feel good about it.
right. You don't feel good about it. That's the
Yeah.
thing.
And that like with Destiny, I was on the fence. I was on the fence about the Taken King. That's for me. I was on the fence because I think I explained it to Jorge. I don't know if did we talk about it or maybe I talked about it
Yeah,
with
we
somebody
did.
else. I've been talking about this for like 2 days. So um yeah, it's like I was on the fence because I'm like I don't really think the $40 is worth it. And we got hosed with the Dark Below, and then the House of Wolves is okay, but it gives you less reason to play. But my friends are playing it. It's not like it's a bad game. You know what I'm saying? It's a good backdrop for when I'm talking to my friends. If anything, it shows a lack of competition in this game space. The space shooter, the only competitor you really have is Halo. You know,
Right.
but I'm not gonna get into that right now. But it kind of shows a lack of competition. But it's not a bad game. I'm like, I might get, I might not. I gotta see. I need to see what happens. I need to see what we get or what they're delivering. Past the content that we saw because that they told us about because we already knew about that. I need to see. We'll see. But as soon as I read that Luke Smith interview, I was like, fuck this. No, like no, I can't. Like I'm not gonna sit here and let this motherfucker be an arrogant prick and then still buy the game because that's what he expects. He expects people to read the article, get a little pissed that oh, I feel disrespected, and then still buy his game. Not me.
Mm-hmm.
Not me. No, not today, Luke Smith. But that's when I decided, no, I'm not. I'm not gonna buy the House of not the House of Wolves, but the Taken King. Sorry, drew a blank there for a second.
I mean, another thing is like people knew this expansion was coming. They knew this big expansion was coming because of the leak that happened months ago. So they knew
Right.
this was coming. They knew it wasn't. If you just look at the pricing for the past couple DLCs or expansions, whatever you want to call them, you had to know it was going to increase with what it was going to be. And I mean, I think just people just need to sit back, relax, see what's coming down the pipe, and then make your decision when the time comes. Like you still got plenty of time, to decide. It's not like this thing comes out next week.
That's true.
Just relax. See what's coming.
Right. Well, yeah, like they would have to do something for me. They'd have to do something pretty drastic at this point. You know what I'm saying? Like it would
Mhm.
have to be like a price drop and something of value in game, like something really worth it. Hawk Moon's for everybody. You know what I'm saying? Hawk Moon's for everybody. Hawk Moons and Galahorns. Fuck. And I feel even worse. I think that the pressure is even bigger in the Euro market. I didn't realize Destiny cost €40
Yep.
when it came out. So for
£3
them,
for the euros. Yep.
Destiny was €40. The main game was €40, and the expansion is the same exact price. That's crazy.
That's crazy.
That is crazy.
That's
At least
crazy.
over here, it was 60-40. Australia, ugh. What was it 70? I think it's like £70 there.
Yeah, they
$70.
$70.
They have Australian dollars.
They have Australian dollars. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, it's like $70 there. That's yeah.
crazy.
It is. It is. Like I think they're feeling it even more than we are. Which is why I think it was Eurogamer who was asking the question in the first place, because for them, it is the same exact price as the main game. Why should people pay for it?
Right.
So even Jorge's, balanced approach, to the game or to the situation wouldn't even apply there.
No, the main game was more than €40. The main game was about 55, 60 euros.
I thought in the interview he said that it was the same price.
It's the same price of the game that it is now.
Oh, it dropped.
Mhm.
Oh, okay. I stand by my statement. No, but it's just yeah, like for me that was no. At this point, it almost feels like I just need to send a message. You know. Like we're not gonna take it. Like I don't know. Like it's not And I'm the type of person like if I didn't do this podcast, I think I would have said what I said and it would have been over with. Like I would have been done with it. But since I run the website, I do this podcast, I gotta talk about it.
Right.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of people right now who are just complaining, and then once the game actually comes out, they're like, I guess that didn't work, and then they just buy the game anyway.
I mean that's just the state of the gamer nowadays, man. Like I understand like a lot of companies do try to get away with a lot of garbage, but a lot of gamers like they have a sense they take it, and they also sometimes they have a sense of entitlement, like oh, you owe me, like they just don't buy the game. Like
Yes.
it's that simple. Like I feel like a lot of gamers feel like they feel like these companies owe them this. And now if you've been plucking down your money and you've been loyal and you've been riding with this game or this company, I don't know why you would ride with a company anyway, but I mean that's another story. But I mean if you've been doing that and you feel like you've been taking, it's like, yo, okay, raise your pitchfork, you know what I mean, whatever. But I mean at the end of the day, it's a game. Like, just don't buy it. Don't spend your money on it. You know what I'm saying? Don't spend your time on it. Like, because that's you're giving them what they want anyway. You're giving them your money. So,
right.
I mean, these things are. I mean, it's a business at the end of the day. You know what I mean? And for us, it's gaming, but it's a business for them, and they trying to make money. So, I mean, that's what they're gonna do. I like the companies and the devs that walk the line where it's like, okay, we understand we got to make money, but we're going to give you something that is worth it and you're going to appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? And the gamers they'll give it back to you like, yo, I support this regardless, So,
right.
I don't know how this is going to turn. Like I said, it's really early now. I'm just sitting back and waiting. I'm not saying now that I'm out and I'm not buying it, but the way I've been playing it recently, it doesn't look good. Unless some systems change and things adjust and some of the details come out, and I'm like, oh, I like that. I might, it's not like it's going to kill me. For people that is going to break their pockets, and then you have a whole different set of problems that you don't need to be worried about.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't have to worry about this expansion because you got bigger fish to fry. But I mean, just from my perspective, I'm just sitting back and waiting and seeing more of the details and seeing what's going to be revealed in the coming months, and then I'll make my decision when it drops. And I would love to buy it. I would love to have a reason to get, because when I was damn near addicted to Destiny. Like, it was great. Like, I got on, I played. Like, I'm like, oh, I gotta play today. Gotta do the daily. Oh, I gotta do the weekly. I gotta do the nightfall. Like, it feels good to have a game that you can rely on. It's reliable for you, for your entertainment. But it just hasn't been that lately for me. So, I don't know. But I'm just gonna sit back and wait, see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, as of now, I think I'm out. Like, I'm still gonna play up until it comes out. I want to see if they make any changes. I want to see if they do anything. And if I feel that it's worth it, I will say it. Like, yeah, sure, I'm back. I will buy it. But as of right now, especially, I'm just hot off of yesterday. You know what I'm saying? I'm hot, off of yesterday. So it's like, yeah, fuck it. Like, my mindset right now is like, nah. And I think one of the big problems is, and the reason why there are a lot of people who are more angry than I am, is that it's not just about money; it's about time and the amount of time and investment you have put into the game. One of the reasons why I played Destiny for so long, all of my friends being a main factor, it's like, dude, I've already spent so much time in this game. Like, if you drop it, it's gonna feel a little bit worthless. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It was the same thing like when I used to play Counter-Strike competitively. It was like, I put so much time and effort into this game, I can't quit now.
Right.
And that paid off for me. That really paid off for me when I did that. And the only reason we even stopped doing that is because, well, we all got into our careers and we literally didn't have time to do it anymore. But
Right, right.
yeah, that's another aspect that it's time. It's how much time people have spent to this game, and now Bungie's telling them to fuck off, and they're like, "But I don't want to fuck off. I don't want to fuck off. I want to play the game, but you're
Right.
like you're spitting in my face right now." You know?
Right. See,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Like, as far as the time aspect goes, like that's why I feel like it was the stuff that they put out already. Yeah, Dark Below was. I'm not going to talk about that again, but I mean, it was what it was. But at the same time, it still kept me playing. It still kept me playing for hours almost every day. And that in itself to me is worth it if I'm still putting time in. And the fact that I'm not putting time in now, if I spend that money and then I still don't put time in, I'm going to be pissed off. But if I get it and I get back to being, into that, oh, I got to play this today. I got to play it today. Then I don't have a problem with it. That's why, when I see everybody, when I look at, forum comments and, article comments with people, oh, this game sucks, blah, blah, blah. Like, okay, you got your opinion, but at the same time, for somebody like me, there's a lot of things I don't like about the game, but I still am putting time into it. And that's crucial to me because there are a lot of games that I play and I don't ever pick up again. And for me to just keep coming back to this game, that shows that it has something that's keeping me there. And it's like, damn, it's not there anymore. So if they can bring me back with this expansion, then for me it's worth it. You know what I'm saying? Because I've gotten more than my money's worth with all the hours that I put into this game. I totally feel like I've gotten more than my money's worth because I played this game for hours and hours and weeks and months. And there's a lot of games that I just don't do that with, that I have paid, paid the money for. And I just, I got my money's worth for the time being. But I feel like with Destiny, I kept getting that. And like I said, if they can do that with this expansion, then I'm cool. I don't have a problem with it.
I gotcha.
Yeah, the TLDR version of all that was pricing's complicated. Let's wait to see what happens, and we're all a little frustrated. So how about we move on, because I think we beat the hell out of that pricing thing. How about we move on to the impressions of Taken King outside of the price of what we saw so far.
That's all there is, Jorge. And back to the price thing.
Damn.
No, but no, the impressions of the Taken King.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? It's funny because everything inside of Destiny, I come from a PvP perspective. As soon as I saw the new classes, I'm like, cheese. That's all. That's all I saw. Like, fucking cheese. Oh, electrocute me in the Crucible now. Fuck you. Are you gonna hit me with your hammer now? It's just like, how is this gonna work? Because it's gonna come out and it's gonna be unbalanced. So they're gonna have to make some changes to it, and people are gonna cry. They're gonna make the changes back, and it's gonna go back and forth. Now you just have another aspect that needs to be balanced out. Yeah, that's right. I'm Mr. Grumpy today. That's right. On a good note, they looked cool. They looked cool, and in PvE, I'm sure they're awesome. Like, I'm sure they're gonna be awesome. Especially, I put like my primary is, I still consider my warlock my primary, but I like that void bow.
Mm-hmm.
I like that void bow from the the hunter. But I know it's gonna be some bullshit in the Crucible.
What's really cool is it neutralizes people's supers. So
hey, you see, that's fucking bullshit. In the Crucible,
that's awesome as hell. That shuts down that. Oh, you want to super ball me? Nope. Sorry, Mr. Warlock. You can't turn to the corner. You want a fist of panic? Oh, I'm going to stop you in midair. No.
Does it neutralize it, and does it get rid of their special?
It gets rid of their special. It's like the suppression grenade from the Titan.
Okay, so once they hit with this thing, their special goes away, or they just can't do it for a certain
Their
amount of time.
special goes. It's suppressed, so they're basically normal, and they're walking very slowly, like with the one dude this week in
Yeah.
what's it called, the prison of elders, where
Yeah.
he
The
vomits all over the
guy
place,
belches, yeah.
and you're just walking around slowly. That's basically what's gonna happen to you, and then your teammates just finish him off real quick. Dop, 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 dead. Dop, 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 dead.
Right, okay. Well, I mean, like, you know what else stops people from doing this special? Golden gun. I have a video of me shooting a guy who did Fist of Havoc, and in the middle of his Fist of Havoc, he just explodes.
Mhm.
And it was just badass, if I have to say so myself, because I did it and I walked past him as he was exploding.
That's messed up.
I took a video of it, and the tagline was, that move was quite explosive.
It's corny as hell, and you know it.
I know, yeah, it is, but it works. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I think in the PvE, I think it's gonna be awesome. And the Crucible, I think it's gonna be a problem. But
So what do you think of, just focusing on PvE at the moment? What do you think of the whole story thing
the whole story thing, which aspect of it?
that we've gotten so far in terms of like Oryx, he's coming down with his Taken, which a lot of people are sort of upset about because it appears to be reskins of enemies, even though they do completely different moves.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't know. Like, it seems like it's some kind of epic. Like, oh, you killed my son, now the father's coming to get you.
Yeah.
You know, it seems kind of epic, but the way Bungie does their stories, I just know they're not going to deliver it right. You know, and who knows who's going to be doing the voiceover this time? You know, because that was part of the problem with the Dark Below was that fucking chick.
Well, she's coming back.
No.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, you had to expect that she was going to come back in some way, shape, or form if they're involved in that.
Fuck. She
In
was
fact,
so.
she's in the first mission. Her and Zavala are talking about what's going on there, and they're like getting into it because Zavala doesn't like Erismorn because she's tainted with darkness.
I fucking hated her voice, yo. Like, you have to stop Crota. You have to save the city. Like, yeah, no. You know, Crota is awakening. Like, yeah, fucking, ugh. She was annoying. Coming off of fucking Peter Dinklage at the end of the game who didn't give a fuck. Like, are we done now? Thank God. Go back to the tower. Fuck you. Yeah. Okay, but yeah, I didn't enjoy that. I didn't enjoy her voice acting at all.
Crota?
You know? Yeah, Crota. 6 of us went down. Only I came back. I like the voice acting so much better in the House of Wolves. You know?
Yeah.
She doesn't sound like she's being over dramatic.
Yeah.
It's Varix. Varix is the man. But I already talked about Varix last time.
Even with Varix, it's like, you know, his little sayings get annoying in the Prison of Elders. They're gonna try to kill you. Kill them back. You know? Somebody get me a throat lozenge. Like, it's sometimes that gets a little annoying, especially when you die and have to go back into a area a few times.
Yeah.
You know?
Yo,
but,
Waldy's impression of him that shit is classic.
Oh yeah, that was really good. But
awesome.
Yeah, dude. Like, I don't know. Like, it's just like, with her voiceover, I did not like it. I think it wouldn't be so bad if you don't have to hear her the entire expansion.
You don't.
Yeah, that's not so bad. But hearing her,
it's gonna be all of them.
Yeah, for hearing her for every single thing, I fucking like, you know, now stop, shut up. I wish somebody else would have came back instead of you.
Damn.
You know, but fuck. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think from a story perspective, I wouldn't expect more than what we've already got in terms of storytelling. You know, which isn't terrible. It's not bad. It's just it could be much better. You know.
Didn't they say they were Like that was like a focus. The storytelling was going to be a lot better this time around.
Yeah, with full cutscenes that you can skip.
Yeah, that I was
Yes.
gonna get ready to say like, yeah.
You're able to skip them. And a much larger raid than Vault of Glass with puzzles and Indiana Jones style booby traps.
Whoa.
Well,
And it's a specific area of the dreadnought. And while you're in the dreadnought, in the the patrol area of the dreadnought, there's loot all over the place. So it's like a mini raid all in itself. So you can find loot all over the place.
Damn.
yeah, we'll see. I want to see how big. Like, I want to see how big it is. Like,
Dreadnought?
well, yeah, like the raid.
Oh, the raid?
Yeah.
Yeah. The guys mentioned that it's 3 times the size of Vault of Glass.
Damn.
Okay, I mean, like, okay, I mean that's fine. I mean, I
I just
also
hope that there's more creative bosses than there were in um, Vault of Glass.
right.
Yeah,
Well,
outside of the Templar, all you had was Atheon, and that was okay. But like something like a mechanic, like they were talking about in this one video, where like let's say there's a giant Vex boss in the middle, and in order to kill him, you have to move power cells that appear from Praetorians that are coming out into his body, and once 5 of them comes out, then he pulls out a Mother Brain style, where all you've been attacking has been his head, and there's a giant body that comes up from the ground, and you have to finish him off. Something cool like that. Like it'd be cool if they had enemies like that or bosses like that. So
yeah. I mean,
Sounds dope.
I think the raids in general needed more bosses. Like when you go for a raid, like you expect to spend a good amount of time there.
mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Like if you go to a raid in almost any other MMO, you're spending hours in that bitch.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? And for first person shooters, a little different because it's actually I think it's a bit more tiring
Mhm.
play through a shooter. But at the same time, didn't we go through Crota in like 25 minutes the other week?
We did Crota in 20 minutes with 3 guys up until the Death Singer, and then people started jumping in.
Yeah,
And we pretty much finished the Death Singer with just the 3 of us, and people jumped in.
like
And
after the fact.
all right,
Yeah, after the fact, people started jumping in, and yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's really like the raids in Destiny are super short.
well the Crota one is the
The
Vault of
Crota one,
Glass.
the Vault
At,
takes longer because you have to wait.
right. I mean, it has the Final Fantasy style where it's like, oh, this is such a hard boss battle. It's not that hard. It just takes a long time.
Yeah, exactly. Like you just have to wait, and I think that's why a lot of people prefer Crota because it's not challenging. You just need to get it done. I mean, like the first time or second time you go in there, yeah, sure, it's challenging.
Mm.
But after that, it's like okay, well now it just feels like they're burning time. You want to get things done faster. With other games and raids and other games, you have these guilds that play these raids weekly
Mhm.
and still end up spending hours inside of a raid because, well, one, they can't cheese it, but two, because the boss fights are still challenging.
Mhm.
Like you have guilds and groups who will, for weeks, like to get a sub boss down. That's not even the main boss. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
then I think like if Destiny had more of that feeling, that would be helpful because it would definitely that's huge content right there. If you actually had to do part of a raid one day and then like, okay, guys, we'll just group back up tomorrow, or something like that. See if we can finish it off. As opposed to what we were doing when Crota first came out was, because our clan was pretty big, so it wasn't huge, but it was pretty big. We a bunch of us would get to the final Crota fight to get the save point, and then we would help additional members get them with that save point.
Right.
You know. So I'm curious to see how big it actually is. But like I said, you can't treat a first-person shooter the same way you do an MMO, obviously, because like it can get very tiring when you do that. So
Right.
I don't know. In terms of content, I think it could be good. Well, one, it won't be bad. I'm not expecting it to be bad, but it could be good.
Yeah.
You were gonna say something else, Sage, or?
Oh no, I'm just digesting all of that. Like I think if they do it right, it could be something special because I mean the raids so far, like I mean once you figure them out, it's like okay, you just go through the motions. I mean they're still fun at times because especially depending on the people you're playing with. But I just I like a lot of the ideas that you guys had. I'd like to see some type of tiered boss fight or more bosses. Or, just make it feel like extra special. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and make it worth it. Like you know what I'm saying? Like make
Right.
it make the boss fights tough. So
Right.
that you actually feel like you're doing something special.
Yeah, like I would just want them to be like everybody has to be involved. Like you have to do your part. You got to hold down your section,
And you got to
or
be on
else
point.
right, or else it's not gonna work.
Yeah, and
And,
yeah,
and don't make it so that if one person dies, it screws up the entire group, aka the sword bearer on
Right.
Crota.
yeah,
Yes.
That was the most
Yes.
frustrating thing ever. I
Yes.
mean, even for example, jumping into the whole thing with the prison, the Skolas boss fight. If one person dies, yeah, it's devastating, but at least you can pick them up. You just got to survive the onslaughts that's coming your way.
go take a lap.
Right.
Right. Yep.
Go take a lap, make your way back.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. We might as well. Did anybody else have anything else about Taken King?
No, I mean, just that the max base level is rumored to be 30, and the max light level is supposed to be 50. There are conflicting reports about that because Bungie saying one thing, but what we saw in the game and what's been rumored and for the longest time is that's what's happening. And reforging armor. We already reforged weapons. We're going to be able to reforge armor. So, like let's say you have something that's pure strength, you'll be able to reforge that to have intellect and discipline.
Okay.
So, other than that, nothing special outside of weapon foundries and weapon brands. Like we already have the Suros brand of weapons like pulse rifles, auto rifles, and obviously the big majestic Suros regime. But Suros will have other weapons like rocket launchers and whatnot, and they'll all somewhat look similar. And you'll be able to tell a Suros weapon from another type of weapon.
Right.
So that'll be cool.
Okay. I do have one more thing to add. It's actually from the comment section
Mm-hmm.
from that King from what you call it from Luke's little interview there.
Oh, Luke Smith.
Yeah, from Luke Smith's. And it's just somebody. All they did was post a picture of Scrooge McDuck skiing down a mountain of gold coins. That's what they posted. I was like, I don't think that's ever fit anywhere so appropriately right now. But yeah, moving on to the Prison of Elders. I guess one thing we'll talk about is Prison of Elders actually worth it. You know.
Yeah. I want to say no.
You don't think so?
No.
That's not the answer I was expecting. Go for it.
Yeah, because all right, the best weapons in the game are the ones that you get in Vaulted Glass and a couple from Crota. And outside of that, you have the Messenger, which is only obtainable through doing Trials of Osiris, which is a very, very powerful pulse rifle. In fact, it's a little bit better than Red Death just because it's a legendary and it does 2-hit kills as well, just like Red Death.
Damn.
Yeah, it's a ridiculous weapon. I've gotten destroyed by that a couple times in Crucible.
What's the name of it?
The Messenger.
Oh,
yeah.
Fuck that gun.
Oh,
Yeah.
man, yeah.
Yeah. So you guys know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
I know
yeah, I know
exactly.
exactly what you're talking about.
That's the one weapon that made people say, "Oh, I guess I don't need to equip an exotic primary anymore."
That shit is ridiculous.
Because the Jewel of Osiris was okay. It wasn't the end all be all hand cannon that people thought it would be. The auto rifle is it's an auto rifle. And I'm trying to remember what's the other. I mean, the shotgun and the rocket launchers are decent, but they're nothing special. that you have to absolutely have. It's the messenger that everybody wants.
Right.
Um, the reason I say I don't know if it's worth it is because the weapons that you get from kill, like, if you beat 28, 32, or 34, you're not going to get any special quote unquote raid style weapons. So let's ignore that. The only raid style weapons that you get is when you kill Skolas. The second you kill him, you either get an Elder Cipher or some sort of weapon that drops. Or sometimes you don't even get anything at all. It could be, it'll be the same weapons that that Varric sells, except it'll be, for example, instead of Wolf Slayer Claw, it will say Wolf Slayer Claw 2, and it'll be the Solar version, or the Arc version, or the Void version. It's kind of like what they do with the Trials of Osiris. Like, you'll have the Messenger, or you'll have the Messenger Adept when you get 9 wins, 0 losses. The perks on the weapons are just terrible, though. I saw somebody get the sniper rifle. I forget what it's called. The Veil of something. I can't remember what the sniper rifle is called. It had perfect balance and extra damage to shanks. How are you going to put extra damage to shanks on a sniper rifle?
Yeah.
And on top of that, it was a void sniper rifle. So it's completely useless against shanks in the Nightfall. It's not a solar version. Like, what the heck am I going to do with this?
That's
Like,
crazy.
I just picked up the solar version of the Six Dreg Pride, which is the hand cannon. So I have a hand cannon of each type, which is cool. The perk on it is it has a chance to stun a captain. The captain has arc shield. What am I going to do with that? Use that against a captain? If it wasn't for the fact that it had the same impact and better range and reload speed than Fatebringer, I'd probably look at that and say, what's the point of this hand cannon? Like, there's no point to getting those weapons. A lot of them are just dumb. And I honestly, Bungie will never do it, but I honestly believe that Bungie needs to go back and just change all those fallen perks to be like they were for what is it, the Dark Below, where it was extra damage to fallen majors, or I'm not fallen majors. It was extra damage to hive majors, and just make it extra damage to fallen majors. Because I mean, are you kidding me? And the one perk does extra damage to fallen is it does a small amount of damage, extra damage to fallen. So like, I'll do a headshot for 1392, and I look at the other number next to it, it'll be 89. I'm like, what? I was like, that's the extra damage, 89 points? That's nothing.
Yeah.
So, like I'm saying, the Prison of Elders, the rewards just aren't worth it. And the Elder Ciphers, which are completely baffling to me, like, oh, take it to Varix. Varix will tell you when it's ready. It could be 1 day, it could be 2 days, hell, it could be 3 days from now. That's just the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
That reminds me, I actually need to check into that, because I did that on Sunday. But you're right, I totally forgot about it. Like, I gave it to him, I was like, okay.
Yeah. I will say this, though. The boss fights are the best thing that Destiny's had in a long while. Like, the actual boss fights are cool. Quodron, they modified him since last time. And he's a fun boss battle. Like, all the boss battles are actually fun. And they modified Skolas recently so that instead of having 27,000 life, he has 15,000 life. Enemies spawn at regular health intervals, and there's no more elemental burn. So this week it's small arms and light switch. So the enemies can just slap the hell out of you, but you can take them down with one shot from your hand cannon real quick.
That's gonna be nice.
So it's a cool thing. Like, you take out all the ads and then you focus on Skolas. Take out all the ads, focus on Skolas. Oh, you got to deal with the poison. You know, you just got to alternate between focusing on the ads, dealing with the poison, passing the poison. Oh, you did too much damage. Now you got to take care of mine. It's an actual fun boss battle. And like I was telling you before we started the recording, it would have been more satisfying if this was the actual raid boss, like Skolas. Instead of the mines appearing for no reason, because Varric's told you that the mines are out there. Like Skolas is getting frustrated that he's losing this battle, and you guys are on the ship fighting Skolas, trying to bring him to justice. And Skolas start activating, self-destruct mines. Three people leave the area where Skolas is at to try to disarm these mines, while the other three keep trying to take Skolas down. And then they all come back to finish off Skolas. And it would have been cool. Something like that would have been very cool, but they didn't go that route.
I like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my whole thing with Prison of Elders. It's just outside of the boss battles, which are fun to do. Getting to the actual boss battles is a little bit monotonous, especially the level 35. It's not even that hard anymore. It's a chore. Like
Yeah.
you do the level 35. It's the same exact modifiers every single week. The first one is Hive. It's Brawler and Light Switch or something like that. So you do extra damage, but they do extra damage to you. The next one, it's the Vex. After that, it's the Cabal, and then it's Fallen for 3 rounds because you got the Fallen round, you got the Pilot Servitor, and then you got Skolas. It doesn't change, and the modifiers don't change except for Skolas. So if you know exactly what's going in, you go in with the same exact weapons, you do the same exact strategy up until you get to Skolas, and then you have to change it a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. Like actually, that's the one thing. One of the things that did bother me about Prison of Elders is that basically except at the top level, I think this week Skolas was a duplicate of last week.
No, last week it was, what is it? It was.
Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. Skolas wasn't a duplicate of last week. That's Skolas. All of the fights before him
Right.
got passed down to 34. And the fights from 34 get passed down to 32.
Right.
And then fights from 32 get passed down to 28. That means
No, 20 it's the only one that's random.
Oh, 128's random? Okay.
The 28, they have the same exact bosses, but the boss order will rotate. It's completely random what the last boss is.
Well, yeah, I played the 28 at one time. Oh, well, per character. So I just assumed it was the same thing. But like 34 is a hand down from 35, 32 is a hand down from 34. So they really only need to do one new Prison of Elders every week.
No, 34 is always it's something different. It's never the 35. 35 is always Skolas.
Well, no, I know it's always Skolas, but I'm talking about the fights you do before Skolas.
Right. No, yeah, but the 34 is something different. Like the 34, like this week it's the Broken Legion. Next week it'll probably be Urox's Grudge.
Yeah, I forget who was the boss before Skolas last week.
It's you mean on 35?
On 35, yeah.
35, it's always the Pilot Servitor, and that's the boss for the 28 for Fallen.
Gotcha. Well, yeah, I know 32 is a hand me down from 34.
Right.
For sure.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
Right.
34 to 32, and then 34 to 32.
Yeah, but still, I mean, like it would give me a reason to play 32. Like, don't just make it a hand me down. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you got to play 34 because you get the etheric light anyway.
Right.
You know, so that's pretty much one of my that's probably my biggest problem with it. You know, other than that, I mean, I don't have like a lot of problems with it. I think it's all right. It's just something to get me an etheric light. Like if I don't need etheric light, I think it's gonna be. And if I don't need etheric light and I don't have any friends that want to do it because they need etheric light, it's gonna be tough to get me in there.
Like I said, it's just not a satisfying boss. I mean, not satisfying boss. It's just not a satisfying reward. Like everybody was doing Vault of Glass for Fatebringer, and they wanted Vision of Confluence, and what was the sniper rifle was pretty common, but you know what I meant. Like the weapons there, like they were desirable to have. For the Crota's end, everybody wanted Black Hammer, and everybody wanted Fangavir Ute, and everybody wanted Hunger of Crota. So like you had a reason to go back and do those things. This one, 6-Reg Pride Solar version is the best thing I got. That and the Arc version. What am I going to do with the auto rifle? What am I going to do with the sniper rifle? Shadow of Veils. There we go. What am I going to do with? I mean, the pulse rifle's terrible. I have the scout rifle as well. It's a quick fire scout rifle. All these items you can't reforge,
Right.
so they are what they are, and that's it. It's like they're pointless.
They are. Yeah, that's the thing. Like most of, I've actually and it started like deleting them because they're just taking up space in my inventory.
Mm.
You know, and that's even less of a reason to give you play Prison Bells because at least with if the weapons were good or desirable, you know, if I didn't need a Etheric Light, that'll give me a reason to play Prison of Elders.
Yeah, I
Right.
mean that's the only reason people play 34 or 35 is for the etheric light, and even then, like people are starting to have too much of that stuff because they're like, what do I need to upgrade now? Like people have started to fully upgrade their VOG gear to have the full VOG and walk around with, oh look, I have a Vex head. Da, 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 da.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of Vault of Glass weapons come back out.
Yeah.
But like I think the fact that all it's so unrewarding to do that is a big reason for the next thing that I was talking about, where the interest in raids and doing stuff in Destiny has kind of gone down. Like I'm looking at my friends list. I remember week one of the House of Wolves. Like I had 7 of 10 friends list completely full, and now I have two, maybe three. Like my old rating crew, they're all gone. They don't play on Fridays anymore.
Right.
A lot of people from the clan, they just straight up left. They're doing other stuff. I'm not sure that it's a product of. I had a feeling that this was going to happen too, because we were talking about it before when with the reforging, and I was just like, this is a double edged sword because it's cool to have the perfect weapon, but then it removes, the desire to get the weapons. Like we're venturing into Borderlands territory now, where there's hundreds of weapons, and all but like 5 of them are junk.
Right.
And unfortunately, a lot of that stuff is happening to Destiny right now, where it's like, oh, I'm gonna go get Fatebringer, and when you go to get Fatebringer, it ends up being the very best hand cannon in the game for PVE.
Yeah. Actually, my reason for raiding now is that I just don't have certain weapons. Like I don't have a Black Hammer, I don't have a Word of Crota, I don't have a Fatebringer, I don't have a Vex Mythoclast.
Hmm.
But if I had those weapons, I would only raid to help my friends get through it.
Hmm.
At that point, and then once they got it, it's kind of like meh,
Right.
Right. Right.
and then that's the thing. Most of our clan, like we don't raid on the schedule at all anymore. I can't remember the last time I actually raided with a full group for my clan.
Yeah.
I don't either.
Same thing here.
I've been hitting you up for raids.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah, I mean, the feeling I have right now, 1 month, it's been what? It has been about a month, right?
Yeah.
Since House of Wolves came out.
Yeah.
I mean, my interest in the game, and you know how much I play. I'm on there every single day. I mean, I'm not finding the reasons that I used to play the game like I used to. I mean, basically, I've gone from playing with groups to do raids to basically being like I've been called Sherpa, which is weird to me. Basically taking newbies through raids and showing them how to do stuff, and which is cool, but at the same time I'm just like, this used to be way more populated than where it was. So
Yeah.
I'm starting to see the disinterest in the game, and it's kind of concerning considering it's just been a month. And when I look to how it was after Dark Below, like people were still doing Crota, people were still doing Vault of Glass, people were collecting all this stuff a month after um, Dark Below came out. They were still doing a lot of this stuff, and I just don't see the same stuff a month after House of Wolves.
Right, yeah, exactly. I mean, well, Sage is a perfect example of that. I mean, he played every day,
Yeah.
and now
Yeah.
he's not. And like I'll be honest with you, like, most of the reason time I'm playing is because one of our friends, uh, he doesn't have a lot of the weapons.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So I want to play and help him out and get him through it so he can get the weapons. And now it's kind of like, well, then what are we gonna do after he gets the weapons? you know.
Crucible.
Well, that's the thing. Like this, it's like I don't know. Like I haven't even been like in a big mood to play Crucible either. The only reason I've been playing Crucible is because of to get bounties done to upgrade weapons.
Right. Yeah. Like the last time, like me and you did Crucible, like it was just we just did it just for fun and just to pass. Like we were mostly talking the whole time.
Yeah, we were just talking about other shit and then playing Crucible in the meantime,
Yeah,
which helps.
laughing at the highlights.
Yeah, laughing at the highlights, and it kind of helps you deal with the cheese that the Crucible is.
Oh yeah, like I haven't been on and played Crucible like by myself, and it's been weeks since I've done that. I think like just to because I used to get on and just like okay, let me do my Crucible bounties for the day, or I used to do that. Whether if you guys weren't on yet, or if it was like super late and I just I was the only one on, like I'd be like, all right, let me or just nobody was on, but now it's like I don't have any desire to play because it's like I said, like the bounties for me they just aren't they don't seem necessary anymore like that, because it's really no weapons that I really want to upgrade. I mean, unless I raid and I get some weapons that I don't have, like that would be cool. Then I would probably do something like how you did, like do some bounties to get those leveled up. But other than that, I really unless I'm on there laughing and just having a good time, like I don't really see a need to play.
Yeah, yeah, and I know what you feel, how you feel. I mean, the Crucible for me, I can't even be honest with you. I'm not even sure why we really played as much as we did before. I think because we had more to level up. Like now, it's so easy to level up those weapons.
Yeah.
Before you had to level up and have materials.
Right. Yep.
Now you just need the Glimmer, which isn't that big of a deal. But the Crucible, I mean, I stopped. Well, I never really took the Crucible that seriously to begin with, but it gets to a point where the only thing you can do is just laugh about what's happening in the Crucible because it's all cheese. It's about who has the best cheese,
Yeah.
or now the counter cheese. Like, if somebody's using the Thorn, use Red Death. That's kind of just
Hmm.
the way it goes, And especially after that video that I showed you guys, where the guy shot the word of Crota, missed twice, and then the rocket like made a
Oh yeah.
U-turn and came back and slammed that guy. Like, yeah, that's a fucking joke,
That shit is ridiculous.
So,
Well,
competitive Crucible is like an oxymoron. Like, you can't get real competitive, and you gotta just laugh when things happen, or you can't, because you'll just be upset all the time if that was the case.
Yep.
You know.
Yep.
And I don't know. I think like just the cooling down of the game in general, mixed with everything we already knew about the game that it was made out of cheese, is just not helping it.
I mean, but like it's just their fault that it cooled down. For me, like it's not like that. It's not like I lost interest on my own. Where I just outgrew it, or I just started playing other things. Like it just wasn't as attractive to me anymore.
Right.
yeah, a lot of the stuff was self-inflicted. Since we're talking about PvP, might as well just jump into it. Um, I don't enjoy the fact that they have the 4 modes plus the 2 um for the current DLC, and occasionally they'll have a 5th mode, which will be salvage or elimination or whatnot. Speaking of which, elimination is now an option in PvP. Basically, it's Trials of Osiris, just without the weapons mattering. So basically, it's like normal Crucible style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you guys saw the notes that went out yesterday, where they were talking about Vex Mythoclast will be rebuffed in light of the unintended nerf as of the release of House of Wolves.
Yeah.
Auto rifles will have their damage buffed to compete with other weapon types. Shotguns will carry less ammo. Larger maps will be brought back to the rotation to combat overuse of shotguns. Fusion rifles will have their cone decreased, so that nerfing that they did for fusion rifles, that looks like they're buffing it up a little bit more, to basically make fusion rifles a better alternative to shotguns. And then they're changing Thorn's damage to 9 damage per tick, but you'll have 2 less ticks than before. So you have a chance to kill him real. If you do a lot of headshots early on, you'll have a quicker kill. But if you're hoping for that poison over time to kill them, it's not going to do that. And then just they also slightly nerfed the Fireborn in terms of time window in which you only have a certain amount of time before you can't use the Fireborn.
Mm-hmm.
That's the expected changes that are going to happen to Crucible soon. First, what do you think of the Thorn nerf/buff?
I always thought the Thorn needed to be nerfed in PvP anyway, so I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it. There was a rumor that the nerf was gonna the Thorn was gonna lose his burn in PvP period, but that didn't. I don't think that's happening.
See, I would have made the Thorn poison effect happen in PvP only if you do a critical hit.
That would be nice.
Yeah,
I think that would have been more because the fact that you can do a couple body shots and then just let the time poison over time finish him off, it's kind of dumb to me. It's like if I'm supposed to be hitting this piece of armor that is like bricks, especially on a Titan, in front of the chest, and you're telling me that I hit them in the chest and then they're going to take poison over time, that's just funny to me.
Yeah.
So, like, it would make sense. Oh, hit them in the neck or in the head. It makes sense because the thorn is just sticking out of their head anyway. So, like, it would have been cool if they went that way and then did the whole, it doesn't, and make it so that the poison over time doesn't kill you. The only thing that'll kill you will be an actual shot. I would have been okay with that.
right. Yeah, like that would have been better. For
Like
sure.
they basically have no life, and if you breathe on them, they'll die. Like you actually have to land the actual killing blow, a punch or a shot or whatever.
Yeah, I mean the Thorn. I don't know. It just felt like it always felt like they didn't think about it properly when they put it into the game, especially for PvP. Because not only does it tick additional damage, it hits hard and it stops you from regenerating your shield. That's what kills you. The fact that your
Yeah.
shield does not regenerate as fast as it's supposed to. So you can get away from somebody with a Thorn, but now you got to worry about somebody else coming around the corner.
Right.
You know,
Yeah, that gun's an assist machine.
it is.
It certainly is. Assists,
Or
postmortem.
kill steal. Yeah, it's a kill stealer for sure.
Yeah. Hell yeah. I've definitely gotten like, I've shot somebody and then somebody else has actually killed them, but it registered as the poison killing them, so I got the kill.
Yeah.
That's it's just terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just if this was Jorge does Crucible, I would definitely have all the modes available. Like make it so you have obviously the main 4, salvage, what is it, elimination, um, the one with the vehicles. Make them all available. Make all the maps available on there. Just if you don't have the expansion, you can't do that map, so you got to wait for another group.
Well, yeah, and that would make
Kind of like what
sense.
they did with Halo.
Halo and fucking Call of Duty every year.
Every other shooter in the
Yeah.
the fact that they have them separate. I mean, like we were talking before, you never did Cauldron, Skyshock, and what's the other one, Pantheon, until it became part of the normal rotation.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like that was. I think me and Sage played those maps like one day,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
and then that was it until it came back out.
Right.
Yep.
So yeah, obviously, now we're playing them, and we're used to them, and it's fine. But we would have played them a lot more if they were actually in the rotation, because we weren't gonna leave the rotation just go play them and play the same 3 maps over and over again. Like, who wants to
I
do
never
that?
understood that, man. Never got that.
Yeah, it really doesn't make any sense. Yep. What do you guys think of scout rifles? Because everybody's been talking about hand cannons. Everybody's been talking about auto rifles and how they suck now. But nobody's been talking about scout rifles in PvP. And I personally am a huge fan of scout rifles, but I don't see them getting any love at all from Bungie or players.
I don't think the thing about scout rifles is like I don't think they're getting love because there's really no reason to use them. Like the only time I use a scout rifle, and it's a good alternative, is when specifically I want to use like an exotic in my
Secondary.
secondary slot. Yeah, then I'll pull
Right.
out my Fang and I'll use it.
Mm.
Actually, now that I think about it, I really should start using it more simply for the fact that I turned off the perk for the marking, and I turned on the perk for fast reload.
Right.
Dude,
That's what I've always had. Yeah.
woo, I didn't realize. I didn't know. I didn't know. I didn't realize how fast it actually was.
It's instant.
Yeah, like yes, and
It's like Fatebringer reload from a headshot instant.
it's and all you gotta do is just let the clip run out.
Yep.
All you gotta do. So I might try it again. But yeah, when I use like let's say I'm in the Crucible and I want to use the Invective, I'll do that. Even though I don't know if anybody's really talked about it, but they nerfed how fast your weapons reload. Like how fast like your auto ammo weapons get their ammo back. Did you notice that?
I did notice it when it came to Icebreaker. Invective I rarely use, so you're a better one than me when it comes to that, just because I use the Matador. And
Oh,
my
God.
God, yo,
Oh, my
that
God.
shotgun, yo, Fellwinter's Lie bowed down to the true king.
Yo, the Matador. Oh my God, yo.
Matador
That
and
shit.
Party Crasher's bad too.
Yeah, Party Crasher
Well,
is definitely up there.
basically all three of them, Party Crasher, Matador, and the old Fellwinter's Lie. Yo, screw the shotguns.
I've been killed by the Matador a few times. I've been killed by a Party Crash a few times, but I've been killing people with my secret handshake more frequently than I get killed with those guys. I mean, like I know those guys, they have longer range and higher impact.
Mm-hmm.
But for me in the Crucible, rate of fire on a shotgun is more important. Because, misregisters happen all the time in the Crucible. And the times I have been killed with the Matador, it's because somebody had a beat on me. Like there was no way I was getting out of that one. You know what I'm saying? But like, if I barely miss somebody with the secret handshake, I could just almost instantly put that second shot into him and take him down. And it has a good range too. That's the thing. Like I have definitely like bat people down from close range. Not like right on top of them, but I'd say a good 5-6 feet away. With that being able to hit them 2-3 times consecutively, especially because they're waiting for me to run out of ammo sometimes, and it just doesn't happen before they're dead.
See, I love the secret handshake. That was my go-to at first, but ever since I started experimenting with that. Well, I was using I forget the other one. I think it's the Crash I was using before.
Party Crasher?
No, not the part. I think
it's just called the Crash.
The Crash. I think that's the one I was using before. But when I got the Matador and then I re-rolled it to get that I forget what perk
shot
it is.
Package?
But I think it's shot package the one where it reduces the spread or something like that. Yeah, that's the one I have. Ever since I've gotten that, it's like, okay, I can't get a couple shots off that fast, but all I need is one shot.
You're just like, oh, happy day.
It's like, yo, like
and from a good distance too. It's ridiculous.
Exactly. If I do miss, it's my fault anyway. So I deserve to die. But if I hit you, it's over. Like,
dude, it's like Golden Eye shotgun style, man. You remember that Golden Eye shotgun? Yo, you used to be able to hit them from a distance. It's the same thing. It's that Golden Eye shotgun, man.
That shit is like that Doom shotgun.
Oh yeah,
that shotgun you hit from like a block away. Like, yo, that Matador, that shit is shit. And I've been killed with it, so I know it evens out. It's not like Fellwinter's Lie, I never really had luck with it like that, but the Matador.
Oh, happy day.
When I got that and I got that shot package, I was like, whoa. I tried it. I was like, oh, okay, this is This is what power feels like. All right, I get it. I get it, yo.
The
That
blink
shit's
strike
crazy.
has begun.
Yeah, that shit's crazy, man. But yeah. I mean, how about we talk about? I don't have a mental class, but what you just said, I feel like it deserves some attention because I didn't feel like it needed to be. It felt like it got a buff already,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
you know what I'm saying. And then the thing about it is like, all right, it's getting a rebuff, and fusion rifles as a whole are getting a buff. So like, what does that mean? You know what I'm saying?
It means that Bungie doesn't know how to balance
I mean,
weapons.
like yo, is it gonna be the God gun now? Like it like what it seems unstoppable, like just on paper. You know what I'm saying? And it was already damn near, a lethal weapon just, in the right hand. I mean, not even in the
Like
right
Danny
hands.
Glover.
Just like yep, just
Terrible.
like that. I mean, but it already felt like it got like it felt like it got nerfed. And then with just recently, the past couple weeks, like it felt like it was on a tear again. And now that they're feel oh, it wasn't we nerfed it. Like
By
that wasn't
accident.
that was
Sorry, guys. Like, are you
that
fucking kidding me?
like
Like,
it
Yeah.
didn't feel nerfed. Every time I've got ran down on it, like by it. I mean, it's just I'm like, damn. Like that felt like two shots. You know what I'm saying?
I,
Like it's
I will
crazy.
say this though, it's in. It's not god tier. It's not a god tier exotic the Vex Mythoclast is. Like for example, Thorn, Hawkmoon to a certain extent. Um,
Don't talk about
it'll be like the level underneath it, like your last word and your and Vex Mythoclast
Mhm.
occupy a very similar territory because last word you get up close to somebody, pop 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 dead,
Yeah,
pop pop
yeah,
pop dead, and it's the same thing with Vex Mythoclast, like da 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 dead da 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 dead. Um,
right,
it's not as lethal from a distance, even
right.
though you can, like I mentioned last time, you can pop them like a scout rifle, but it's not as lethal from a distance. I think the buff is more in terms of the ammo
Mm,
because it still has that weird setting where even though it's in your primary, it's considered a special weapon.
right,
So,
yeah.
and when you're doing the one boss or no, the one room in Prison of Elders where it says specialists, um, if you equip that plus, for example, a shotgun, both of them are considered special items, so both will do ridiculous damage in that room.
Wow.
So it's considered because it's considered a special weapon, and Bungie still hasn't fixed how it treats those exotics that normally would be special or secondary special weapons. Um, I think it's a little OP by nature. So I don't know how you fix those unless you completely change how the weapons are in the game, or
Right,
until Bungie figures out how to make it so that a fusion rifle can be considered a primary weapon.
right.
Or in the case of, like, for example, No Land Beyond, a sniper rifle, a primary weapon.
No land beyond.
You know, it looks like a joke weapon. I saw a team go 9-0 in Trials of Osiris using only No Land Beyond.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, the No Land Beyond. I got two, and both of them are shards now. Um, because if you hit somebody with No Land Beyond in the face at mid range, it's definitely a one hit kill. But at longer ranges, I was just having better success with even like uh, hand cannons. To be honest with you, you know, I don't know. I think maybe it just wasn't the weapon for me. You are punished a bit more when you miss with it because you got to reload it.
That reload is crazy.
Yeah, but like I definitely have turned two into shards. So my current 365 exotics. Thank you for your sacrifice, No Land Beyond. You know.
Yeah. Speaking of Trials of Osiris, is it just me, or have you guys felt that it's led to a have and have not slash elitist mentality?
I don't think so because I kill Trials players all the time.
Right. In normal Crucible, yes.
Right? Yeah.
What I mean by that is like there's a lot of using, for example, Destiny LFG, or if you or all these other Facebook sites and whatnot. They're like, we're looking to do trials, must have Grimoire score of 4,000 and a kill death ratio of 3. It's like you must prove that you did this by having the exotic emblem, or don't send me a message. And I'm like, whoa, what is going on here?
Wow.
And it's been very common like that, where I'm like, what the hell? Must be Ethiopian and produce Ethiopian breast milk. I'm like,
Yeah.
what is going on here?
Well, I don't go to Destiny LFG or those places. That's probably why I haven't seen it.
Yeah, well, not just LFG, but just like all over the internet. Like,
Yeah, like
and then people have been posting these videos. And
so I usually hook up with other people who like do that. Like I did it one time and it worked out, but I just didn't feel like doing it because the chances that you're just gonna hook up with some squeaker or some asshole is just too high. It feels like so.
time
Like,
out, time out. You said squeaker. I'm done.
yeah.
Squeaker.
Well, like like yeah, I know you have people who usually come in. Well, another friend of ours, Jeff, he uses it and he gets people, and he manages to get good people. Actually, one of the guys, quick Destiny story, like one of the guys that he brought in, like I went away, AFK for a second. I came back. I put my headset on. The first thing that I heard when I put on is this dude just like smoking a bong. Like just totally like I just hear the noise and then the cough. Like he just hit that cough right after. I'm like, this guy's gonna be okay.
That's awesome.
It was funny because Jeff was like, I don't think that's a coffee maker.
What? Oh my god!
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a great story right there.
Yeah, but the dude was like totally toking it up. Like when I got back onto comms, he's like, "You guys ready?" Yeah, it was funny.
Like, are you ready?
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, I don't mind that. But like, I don't want to get in some place like, okay, we get in here, we gotta go left, and at 30.5 seconds, then we're gonna go right. Then we're gonna get into this weapon of light bubble, and we're gonna come out and shoot Skullus in the face. If he doesn't get down to half health on the first try, I'm leaving. I don't want that. I don't want that guy in the group.
Yeah, there's been a lot of that. Like when Skolas had burns, oh my god, must have Galahorn. If you don't have Galahorn, don't message me. Or when it was Arc Week, must have a sniper rifle Arc. Don't bring patience and time, otherwise you suck. Must have a Grimoire score over 3,000, or for me to take you seriously. I'm like, oh, see.
That's why I can't take you seriously at all. You say something like that, serious business, fucking Destiny. We gotta get out there, we gotta save the universe. No exceptions, no losers.
No,
if you're using the Obama ship, I don't want to hear from you.
Oh my god.
I'm not sure if we shared that with you. That's what we call the original ship, Obama Transport. Oh man, government ship, man.
The government ship.
It's a government transport.
I didn't know Destiny had turned into a dude bro game. You know what I'm saying?
No,
it's slowly becoming that way.
Yeah.
And I just think stuff like Trials of Osiris kind of have exacerbated that.
Right.
Just because it's like, oh, you got to prove that you did this on flawless. You must have the entire armor set. Otherwise, I'm not going to take you seriously.
Well, the thing about Trials of Osiris is that Bungie painted it as this this is the ultimate, PvP, the most competitive mode that in Destiny,
And it
and
is.
only the hardest of core can do it. That's the way Destiny. Yeah, it's like it sounds like something like advertising for a monster truck rally. Tuesday, Trials of Osiris. Like, that's what it feels like. That the field they were trying to go, and they're trying to get people pumped for it. Are you man enough to handle the trials, brother? Me and the 24-inch pythons gonna come through. Oh yeah, like yes.
Are you ready for the Gorgonzola ready to meet you in trials?
Yeah.
I'm talking about the cheesiest of the cheese. You're gonna hit this dude in the head, and all he's gonna do is sit down and wait for his super, and then you're gonna lose. That's how hardcore this mode is.
Exactly. Like they kind of painted it that way, and I think a lot of the players who go into it are like, "Oh yeah, well I got my prize in trials, or I did the wins in trials and I got it." But the reality of the situation is the game is still just as cheesy as it is in the Crucible. Now the only difference is you have a limited, you have to out cheese the other team, or you'll run out of losses.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's still about cheese. It's not about skill. It's not. Well, I shouldn't say it's not about skill at all. But Destiny PvP is not about skill for the most part. It's more about the cheese. Can you out cheese your opponent?
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is. Oh, they have a thorn. I have a red death. I'll put that. That's my remedy for that. Oh, I just shot 2 rockets at this guy and I missed, but I have Word of Crota, so I still win.
Yeah,
Even Thorn is like that. But you still kill me, but it's ticking away at you, and you died anyway.
Yeah, that's one of the takeaways from the E3 presentation. Like, people had a lot of fun playing the Crucible, obviously because of the new game modes, but a lot of it had to do with the fact that you didn't have exotics, which is making me think maybe Bungie might want to consider having a no exotic play map, where it's like, okay, if you're wearing that exotic armor, that's fine, but just so you know, the perks on it aren't gonna matter. Like, same thing with your weapons. It's like, oh, you want to have that thorn, fine, but just so you're aware, it's a normal hand cannon, does not have its perks. So a lot of people, like, they went in there, they were like, okay, cool, I'm using an auto rifle and I'm having fun using this auto rifle. Oh, you want to roll in with a hand cannon shotgun? You're gonna find out very quickly that's a bad combination to have in the new game modes. It's like, I'm gonna take you down with the new sidearm. By the way, looks amazing. I'm gonna take you down with my scout rifle sidearm combination, and you're gonna quickly have to change that setup that you have, because that setup no longer works.
Yeah, I mean, I think a non-exotic mode would be cool, because then it'll rely more on player skill.
Mm.
Like, there's definitely situations that I'll run into because I know I have a certain weapon with me. It's like, I'll probably beat these guys who are in this room, and then I'll do it. That's kind of it. Like, I know that the secret handshake gives me an advantage because of because of the ammo size and how powerful it is mixed with how far it can shoot. So, like, I'll run into an area that probably isn't the smartest and get like 2, maybe even 3 kills sometimes if they manage to kill me. But an exotic is even worse. Like, like when I was using the invective, dude, I was fearless. I was fucking fearless. Not having the exotics, I think, will force you to play more tactically. And I'm not talking, obviously, not like Rainbow Six tactics, but like, more arena style tactics. So I think it's a good idea.
Yeah.
I guess that's the end of that.
Like a lot of the stuff that we've been talking about with Crucible is stuff that we mentioned on previous episodes.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of Bungie actually enacting them. And I actually think that come September, if Bungie doesn't do anything and has not heeded the requests of the community, PvP mode is just gonna fail. And it's the one thing that shooters rely on for longevity. Look at Halo, look at Call of Duty, look at Battlefield. Destiny is just getting by with a Mario Party style Crucible mode.
Yes.
It's like, here's a star for being the last place on your team. All of a sudden, you win. Congratulations. No, but it's just there's too much cheese, and they need to get rid of it, and they need to get rid of it fast, and they need to properly balance stuff out. And I believe that having a mode where exotics, I mean, you already made it so that Crucible, your levels don't matter. Make it so that the weapons don't matter and it's all about skill. Make it so that pulse rifles are pulse rifles, auto rifles are auto rifles, hand cannon, same thing. And just remove these perks and just make it so that the perks are only there for stuff such as Iron Banner.
Yeah. I think they're worried about segmenting the multiplayer player base too much.
But it's already segmented. It's segmented as crap. Are you kidding me? I mean, people go in there. It's like, oh, I'm a big great white shark. I'm gonna eat you. Yum. Here's my thorn. Yum. Here's my Felwinter's lime. Yum yum. Tasty. And then they like come Friday, they're all gone because they went over to Trials of Osiris, and
right.
You go in there like, well, let me get my kill death ratio up. Da 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 da.
Yeah. Well, imagine if you had an option to go into a different multiplayer mode every day. I think that's what they're worried about.
I would just make that the default Crucible style.
Oh, yeah, if that's the default Crucible, that'll be fine with me. But then you have some people who only play Crucible because they know they have the cheese. If they didn't have the cheese, they wouldn't play. Because then they would actually have to get good at playing a shooter.
Yeah, but here's the thing. The number of people that would leave because they can't use the exotics would be far outweighed by people who never touch Crucible because they know that if they don't have a certain exotic, they're going to get slaughtered.
Oh, I kind of disagree. I think the people who will leave because they don't have an advantage anymore will outweigh. Because Destiny, I will say something about the Destiny player base. They're lazy.
Mm-hmm.
The Destiny player base is lazy.
Yeah.
Like,
give me cheese or don't give me cheese at all.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like give me the skulless checkpoint or don't even message me.
Right, exactly. Like if I can't cheese this strike, I'm not gonna do it. Like that's the Destiny player base. They're lazy. Like it's hard to find somebody who will grind through something with you. It's difficult.
Right. That's true.
And that's why I think the people are like, oh, well, I'm not dominating Crucible anymore. Crucible's not fun anymore. I'm not killing everybody by sneezing on them. Like it's I just don't know what Bungie's thinking. Like, yeah, I really I can see that happening a lot. Destiny, you've changed. Like, yeah, I think those people would outweigh the people who would come in with the regular weapons.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's why Crucible was so much fun in beta, because we all had shitty weapons. Crucible was so much fun in beta because we had shitty weapons,
Mm-hmm.
And now, like you go. Actually, even though I have to admit, that night, I'm not sure if were you with us, Sage, that night that we took Diverse from 1 to 17 in a few hours.
Yeah, I was there.
Yeah. We did that by going into the Crucible, and I actually was using my low-level hunter. It was level 11, and I had this fusion rifle that was fucking putting people in Boston Market. I was putting people on the rotisserie. Oh my god, I was just burning these motherfuckers.
Yeah,
Sage would turn a corner and they'd just be like embers in the air, for me smoking these dudes. And I was using a really cheap I was using a green. It was a green fusion rifle. I don't even use fusion rifles in the Crucible, but that's the only thing I had.
Yeah, I think we all, because we were rolling with him, so we all had low level characters that we were like, oh, let's level up this character with him.
Yeah,
and we all went in there with all our garbage weapons, and that shit was so fun.
yeah. It was
It's just-
so much fun, and like just roasting these dudes, even dudes who had some higher end weapons.
Mhm.
Dude, it was hilarious because we
Yeah.
couldn't use any of our 20 weapons in plus.
Nah, yeah, we couldn't. We were too low. We
Yeah,
just
and that was a lot of fun. We took him from like level 1 to like 17 in one
yeah,
night.
yeah, that shit was fun. That was
Actually,
really
18. No, we got off when he was 18.
yeah.
He
Yep.
played for a little bit more and got 20 in one night.
Yeah, that shit was crazy.
Yeah, but yeah, so I think that could be a lot of fun. I think that could be a lot of fun.
I agree.
So you're onto something, but Bungie knows their player base. They know their player base is lazy. They want to feel awesome for doing the least bit of work.
hmm
That's what they want.
Exactly.
And I think that's why we'll never see it. It's just a pipe dream, Jorge.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I want it.
yeah, pretty much.
Nurture the noobs.
Yeah, that's basically what they do. So I think we're done. Is that it?
That's it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're gonna wrap it up on that note. Let's see what we got coming up. We have
What do we have coming up, Jared?
yeah. Let's see. So far this month we've had a double tap. So for the
Uh-huh.
fighting game community, that's out. We have had a special edition Mashcast for E3.
You're crazy.
Yeah, 4 hours long it was. And later this week I'll be breaking it up for those who can't sit through 4 hours of podcast.
TLDR version.
Yeah, like it's gonna be broken up per thing we talk about. The Sony and Microsoft conferences by themselves were like an hour and some change. So that was me and Nick, and I was just like tired of talking after that. Like I haven't done a 4 hour match cast in years, So that we have that. We just put out a new WoW talk this week, so that is available. That was on patch 6.2. Got it out right before 6.2.
Mhm.
So hope you guys enjoy that. Obviously, this is out now, which is I think it's gonna be this might be the last podcast coming out this month. Yeah, that is the last podcast coming out this month. Next week, actually no, next week we're not gonna have any podcasts, but we'll have Double Tap the week of the 6th, in Orbit the week after that, and then every other week we're gonna have a WoW talk. Mashcast, we are gonna have a special edition next month,
Mhm.
and then it is officially coming back in August.
Damn.
Officially coming back in August. That's right. So
Nice.
get ready. Because if you thought I was angry on this show, you should listen to the Mashcast.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I remember the one episode you guys did with regards to the Ouya commercial that was inappropriate.
Oh yeah, that fucking Ouya commercial. Why did you bring that shit up? What were you thinking? That was around the time that everybody's marketing team needed to get fired. Like they needed to get fired. The Microsoft marketing squad needed to get fired. It was just a bad time to be in marketing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but for more anger, tune into the Mashcast when it comes back. But yeah, you can catch us on in Orbit now. You can catch it on iTunes for your iOS devices. You can catch us on SoundCloud. You can catch us on Stitcher Smart Radio. That's for Android and iTunes. What else are we on? Because we're on in Orbit's on a lot of stuff now. Because we're big time. So, but it's all it's on
Big
iTunes.
slamming dick. Oh yeah.
Jorge's on a big slamming dick, but that's about it.
Wah 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 wah.
So it's on iTunes. We're on Stitcher Smart Radio. We're on SoundCloud. We are on Player.fm. We are on Pocket Casts. I think it's primarily an Android thing, but we also have our own RSS feed just in case you want to put it into a different device. Like if you use Microsoft Outlook and you love it, you can actually put the Mashcast into Microsoft Outlook. How you like that? I was thinking about you guys. You know.
Put an Outlook?
Yeah, you can do RSS feeds in Outlook.
I didn't know that.
It comes in as mail.
Okay.
Like it has its own folder and everything. The more you know. But you can catch us on Facebook, which is facebook.com/smashthosebuttons. We are on Twitter, which is twitter.com/mtbsite. Sorry. We are also on YouTube, which is youtube.com/smashthosebuttons. And yeah, I think that about covers it. Thank you for listening, and we will catch you guys next month.
TFN, ta-ta for now.
Say bye, Sage. I'm saying you don't gotta be so rude.
Rude.
Bye-bye.
There we go. Thank you. Thank you, sir. You know. Later,
No
everybody.
problem. Peace.
There you go.